Hello, yogis and yoginis. Today we're going to start a new series of classes that focus on the moon. So we've started October of 2020 with a full harvest moon, and we will end October of 2020 with a full blue moon. So I thought it only natural that we should use some of our moon-themed yoga postures and also some extra moon meditations in these next few lessons. So I hope that you'll enjoy them, and of course you can use them any time in the year that you like. So let's start off by unwinding through the shoulders here. Lifting the shoulders up as high as is comfortable and rolling them back and down. Feeling each foot firmly connected to the ground beneath us. Drawing up good energy from the earth and filling it into all parts of our body and mind. Now let's take a moment to roll those shoulders back and down. And I thought today we'd start off using Janana Mudra, where we connect the pointer finger of each hand to the thumb of each hand. And in that connection, that represents each of us individuals connecting to something bigger than us. Maybe it's we as the individual yogi connecting to all of the yogis before us, or we as the individual human connecting to the entire earth and all the people on it. And today I'd like us to think about connecting to all beings underneath the full moon. And even when the moon is not full, let's think about all of us sharing the same moon. Now you're welcome to close your eyes here if you'd like to. Inhaling in through the nose and exhaling out through the nose. Using each inhale to breathe peace and calm into the body and the mind. And with each exhale, we're letting go of stray thoughts, letting go of judgment and competition, even when they're directed toward ourselves, and also letting go of our own expectations, allowing ourselves to be pleasantly surprised by what these bodies can do when given the opportunity. Let's take a few more cleansing and centering breaths. And when we're ready, let's slowly open our eyes. Let's roll the shoulders back and down here, standing up nice and tall. And on the next inhale, let's inhale one long arm up toward the sky. And on the exhale, let's switch arms. Inhaling and exhaling. Starting to lubricate the shoulder joints and also opening up through the chest. One more time on each side. Now let's reach back with both arms as we inhale for chest expansion, exhale, rounding through the spine. So let's inhale with a little arch in the back and exhale as we round. Pulling in the abdominals as we round with our tree hugs, opening the chest for chest expansion. One more time, rounding with a tree hug, coming back to that neutral position with both hands down by our sides, palms facing us. Let's inhale, engaging the abdominals. And on the exhale, a reach over to one side. Inhale, lift, lift, lift. And on the exhale, reaching to the other side. Tea kettle reaches. Gentle side bends, starting to lubricate the spine. One more time on each side. Now let's lift all the way back upright. Let's inhale, both arms overhead, and on the exhale, a little twist to one side. Inhaling, lifting back to the center, and on the exhale, we twist to the other side. Snow angel twists. One more snow angel twist on each side. Now let's let these hands come all the way back down. With our hands on our hips, let's just lift one leg just slightly off the ground and start to circle at the ankle. So a little bit of balance work here and also some lubrication for the ankle joints. Now, if you're using a circle pattern, let's reverse it. And then we'll point and flex through the whole foot. Let's switch to the other side. Let's lift that leg off the ground, circling here at the ankle. And then we'll reverse. And then pointing and flexing through the whole foot. All right, let's move on up to the top of our mats here. Let's reach down with both hands so that the palms are facing forward. Let's inhale, standing up tall, engaging the abdominals, and on the exhale, hinging halfway forward to our airplane pose, inhaling and rising up. Exhaling as we hinge, inhale, rising. Coming forward with a nice flat back, hinging forward from the hips, palms downward. changing into airplane flow. Let's inhale, lifting upright, take those arms overhead, and let's swan dive with a little bend in the knees to a forward fold. On the inhale, let's lift to monkey with a nice flat back. Exhaling down to forward fold, rising tall as we inhale. Swan diving down. Inhaling to monkey. Exhaling, forward fold. Rising tall. Swan diving down. Inhaling to monkey. Exhale, forward fold. Rising. Following our breath. Couple more of these monkey flows. Last time through, swan diving down, lifting to monkey. Now let's exhale to forward fold, and let's step all the way back for downward dog, reaching those heels as close to the ground as is comfortable. Starting to pedal at the heels here. Keeping those abdominals engaged to support the back at all times. Now let's reach both heels back and down, gently bending at the knees, stacking right up into an all fours posture here. Shoulders over wrist, hips over the knees. Let's inhale, arching the back for cow. And on the exhale, curling up like a Halloween cat. Inhaling back to cow. Exhale, curling. Curling up into cat pose one more time. Coming back to all fours. Let's inhale, engaging the abdominals. And on the exhale, bring the right knee in toward the nose. And on the inhale, press that right heel upward. Exhaling, nose to knee. Inhale, pressing that heel upward. Just adding a little more hip mobility work to that same spinal movement of cat and cow, but we call this version sunbird flow. One more time, nose to knee, pressing that heel upward. Now let's come back to all fours. Gonna do the same thing on the other side. Let's inhale, engage the abdominals. Exhale, bring that other knee in toward the nose. Inhale, pressing it upward. One more time, nose to knee, and then pressing that heel upward. Coming back to all fours. Let's reach the hips back toward the heels. Let's get ready to practice our upper body practice. On the inhale, let's press forward into a strong kneeling plank. On the exhale, we lower down with control to the mat. On the inhale, we lift the chest away from the ground, and then we press all the way back into child's pose. Inhaling forward to kneeling plank. Strong abdominals as we lower the body down, elbows close to the body. Inhaling, lifting the chest. You should be able to wave to your neighbors because we're not using the hands to press us upward. And then put the hands down and lift the body back. Inhaling forward, kneeling plank. Exhaling as we lower with control. Inhale, lifting. Exhale, coming all the way back. Follow the breath here. Cobra, like a snake in the grass. Couple more times through. And then we'll come all the way back into child's pose. Let's take a moment to walk the hands over on the right diagonal. Coming into downward facing thunderbolt. Stretching out a little bit more through the left side of the trunk. Now let's take those hands back to the center and over to the other side. Now we'll walk those hands back to the center, shifting forward again to all fours. Let's kickstand out our right toes on the diagonal. We're going to pick up the left foot and point through the left leg, lifting that left arm up toward the sky for a kneeling side plank. Now, you're welcome to lift that left leg off the ground for more balance work if you'd like. Just remember that nothing is required. I'll give out lots of options today and you can use them as you like. Now let's carefully rotate back to all fours. We'll do the same on the other side. So kickstand out the left leg on the diagonal, point through the right toes, open up that right arm up high to the sky, and maybe we'll take that right leg off the floor or off the ground. Kneeling side plank. Keeping the abdominals strong. Backing the shoulder blades up against a flat surface. Now gently rotating back to the ground. Let's bring it on back to child's pose, Balasana. Now on the next inhale, let's shift the body forward to a high plank or kneeling plank, lowering down with control and lifting to cobra or upward dog. And then lift the whole body back to downward dog. Hop up, step up, or walk up to the hands, rising tall on the inhale, and exhale into a chair pose. Inhaling arms overhead, swan diving down to forward fold, stepping back for downward dog. Inhaling forward to the plank of choice, lower down with control, and lift to cobra or upward dog. Pressing back, downward dog, moving up to our hands, rising as we inhale, and exhaling to chair pose. Swan diving down. stepping back for downward dog. Inhale to your plank, lower with control, lift to upward dog or cobra, curl the body back, downward dog. Moving up to our hands, rising tall, and exhale to a strong chair pose. Let's keep following the breath, finding our own pace. Let's use one more sun salutation. And then we'll take those arms all the way back down. Take a drink if you have one. Always a good idea to stay hydrated during our practice. Now, once we've had our drink, let's go into some side bends. Let's inhale the left arm up, reaching as high as is comfortable, and then take a side bend as we exhale. Inhaling, lifting upright, exhaling as we lower down. Other side. Inhaling as we reach up high, exhaling into a bend. Inhale, lift, lift, lift with these trunk muscles, then exhale down. One more time on each side. And then lower that arm down. Roll the shoulders back just a few times here, opening up the chest. Now let's lift both arms to shoulder height, turning our left palm up toward the sky. The right palm faces downward. Let's inhale, and on the exhale, turn those arms over. Inhaling and exhaling. Shoulder spirals. One more time on each side. Now let's relax the arms a moment, bringing both hands together at heart center in Anjali Mudra. Let's inhale, engaging the abdominals, lifting up to our tallest height, and on the exhale, we begin to gently, gently turn toward toward one side of the mat for a standing spinal twist. Now gently unwind that twist back to the center. Let's try it on the other side. Inhale, engaging the abdominals, lifting up to our tallest height. Exhale, turning toward the other side. Come on back to the center and relax the arms, rolling the shoulders back. Now we're going to get ready to go into Warrior One. I want to show you an option that we're calling Moon Warrior. One of my students suggested the name. And Moon Warrior is just going to have our elbows right here next to our ribs. So this is an adaptation from Moonflower's pose, but we're going to use it as Moon Warrior. So when I'm turned sideways, and it's a little bit harder to see, this is what we're doing. We're bringing those elbows in toward the ribs, and the chest is nice and open for Moon Warrior. So let's move up to the top of our mats here. With our feet hips distance apart on the mat, let's start with our left leg, stepping as far back as we can step with that whole left foot connected to the ground. And let's turn our hips to face forward for that traditional Warrior One. Now, I can bring my arms up to a star and then exhale them down in toward the ribs for Moon Warrior. Keeping the chest open, engaging the abdominals to help with our balance today. Envisioning a big full moon in the sky above us. Remembering that the full moon represents abundance. And that can remind us to think about all of the abundance in our own lives. Now when you're ready, let's leave that that right foot where it is, pick up the left foot and step back into Warrior Two. So the right toes are still facing forward, but now the left foot is parallel to the back of our mat, and it's like we're standing on a balance beam or a surfboard, looking out over that right middle finger. Warrior Two. Now let's turn that right palm up toward the sky, reach forward to serve your friends, and then tilt the upper body back for Reverse Warrior. Now let's come back to Warrior Two. Gently straightening that front leg. Let's reach forward as if you're looking off the edge of a mountain, and let's find triangle today. Reaching that left arm skyward, rotating the shoulders back against a flat surface, and letting that right hand rest on the right leg. Now we want to lift with the trunk here. Lift, lift, lift from triangle. Relax those arms and step all the way up to the top of the mat. Let's inhale, both arms up overhead, bending through the knees as we swan dive down to our forward fold. On the inhale, we're lifting to monkey, exhaling down to forward fold, rising tall on the inhale, swan diving down, inhaling to monkey, exhaling forward fold, rising as we inhale, 2 more times. Now let's bring those arms all the way back down. Now we're going to take our left toes just slightly behind us and make sure that our right foot is on good firm ground beneath us. Let's inhale and engage the abdominal muscles, and as we exhale, let's carefully hinge forward from the hips for warrior 3. You're welcome to keep the hands at the hips or reach them out like airplane arms. Another option would be to take them long beyond the crown of the head for more balance challenge. Keeping the abdominals strong will help with our balance. Let's take 4 more breaths. And then gently, gently rise up. Shake out those warrior 3 legs. Now let's return to the feet, hips distance apart for the warriors. Let's take our right foot back this time for warrior 1. Turning the hips to face forward. You can keep the hands on the hips or use that moon warrior that we chose earlier. Now let's leave the left foot where it is. Gently pick up the right foot and step back into warrior 2, looking out over that left middle finger, feeling that nice opening rotation for the hips. Now let's turn that left palm up toward the sky, reach forward to serve your friends, then we're tilting back for reverse warrior. Now let's come back to warrior 2, gently straightening the front leg, reach forward like you're looking off the edge of that mountain and find your triangle. Right arm is lifted high and we're rotating that shoulder back. Now on the inhale, we lift, lift, lift. Relax those arms and step all the way up to the top of the mat here. Now let's take our left foot just a short step back for a staggered stance. And let's start to rock back and forth on the feet. Just a little bit of balance work here. Now plant both of those feet right where they are. Let's inhale, engaging the abdominals, and on the exhale, we begin to hinge forward from the hips, only going as far forward as is comfortable for you. This is our pyramid pose. And the further that we go down into that hinge, the longer stretch that we'll get for that front leg. So think about being nice and long from your hips to your shoulders and out through the crown of the head for good spinal alignment. 2 more breaths. And on the inhale, let's lift the body upright, stepping that left foot forward. Let's take the right foot a short step back. Start to rock back and forth on the feet here. Now, let's inhale, straightening those legs. Lead with the chest rather than leading with the head. And that will help us to keep that good spinal alignment. You can keep the hands at the hips or walk them on down. Finding that nice pyramid stretch now behind the left leg. Now on the next inhale, let's bring the body upright. Step that right foot forward. Now let's take a nice wide stance with the legs. We're going to get ready to do a moon salutation, which is traditionally done in the evening, but since you may not be doing this in the evening, I still want you to know how calming and peaceful and just wonderful this moon salutation can be, especially during the month of October when we're talking about moon-themed poses. So at one point in our moon salutation, we're all going to be hinged forward. You may be able to touch the ground, you may not, it doesn't matter, just reach toward the ground. So here are your 2 choices. You can either just lift up one mighty eagle wing of an arm and then come down and then go to the other side. Or the other option is to add a twist here. And remember, we want to twist from below the navel all the way up into the upper chest. So just remember the good mechanics of a twist while you're hinged forward this way. Now, when I say lift up an eagle wing of an arm, that means I don't want us to just kind of fling the arms around or just lift them up willy-nilly. We're talking eagle's wings. So when we lift those arms, I want you to lift them up with the full power of an eagle and think about reaching out through every fingertip as if they're different feathers on that wing. So it really makes a difference in how it feels in the body. So just pay attention to those little kinds of things. So let's start off with a star pose. Let's inhale the arms up, and on the exhale, a gentle side bend. Inhale, lift, lift, lift with the trunk, and on the exhale, bending to the other side. Inhaling as we lift. Now exhale, hinge forward from the hips. As we look at the ground, we can either lift up that one eagle wing or twist and then come back. On the other side, inhale. Now, of course, if you're twisting, you won't be looking at the ground for some parts of this. Now, let's come over into a lunge on one side as we inhale. Then bend the other knee and come into another lunge. And then rise all the way up to a star. Let's try it again. Exhaling to side bend. Inhale, lift, lift, lift with the trunk. Exhale to the other side. Lifting, lifting to the center. Exhale, hinging forward. Inhale with a twist or that eagle wing. Exhale, back toward the ground. Other side, inhaling and exhaling. Now bend one knee and come into a lunge. Exhale over to the other side. Inhale and rise up. Last time through, let's just follow the breath. Nice and long through the trunk for both of these options. Now let's bring those arms all the way back down. Let's move ourselves up to the top of the mats here. Inhaling arms overhead, swan diving down to a forward fold. Now take a moment here, gang, to straighten the legs as much as is comfortable for you. And if you're not able to straighten the legs as much as you want to today, no worries. Let's just straighten them as much as we can without discomfort. Allow the head and the neck to relax. And when you're ready, let's take one knee down to the ground and then the other, and press back into a nice child's pose, Balasana. Now, let's shift the hips forward a little, still with those arms out long in front of us. Let's take our right arm and reach it underneath the left arm for thread the needle. You might also lower your head to the ground in this pose. It's up to you. Thread the needle is a wonderful way to stretch out through the upper back here. A nice twist. Breathing rather than holding the breath. It's a nice stretch for that shoulder too, of the both shoulders really. Now when you're ready, gently take that right arm back out. This time take the left arm, take it underneath the right. Find your thread the needle options on this side. Now take that left arm, bring it back out to child's pose. We'll sit back again toward those hips toward the heels. Let's take a few more breaths here. And when you're ready, let's walk ourselves back to an upright position. And we're gonna bring our feet out from under us so we can do some seated poses here. Now, I thought that we would have a yogi's choice pose here. You have tabletop pose and you have inclined plank, and they're going to be a good way to open up the chest and also to work on some upper body strength for us. So here's our two options. If you keep the knees bent and put your arms behind you, right under your hands are right under the shoulders, and if I lift up my bottom and I can make myself into a table shape, that's tabletop pose. So that's one choice. The other choice is inclined plank. And I start off with long legs in front of me, feet side by side, toes pointing. And then when I lift up, I'm making this diagonal line from my collarbone all the way down to my heels, okay? So it's yogi's choice here, which one of those you want to do, inclined plank or tabletop. Whichever one we're choosing, let's get firm in our foundation and then lift when you're ready. Keeping the abdominals engaged, head in line with the spine, rather than letting the head fall back. Now gently, let's lower ourselves back down to the ground. Let's bring the soles of our feet together for a nice butterfly pose. Slide those heels in toward the groin as much as is comfortable for you. And we're going to start off with just an upright butterfly, Baddha Konasana A. Keeping the abdominals engaged. Nice and tall from the posture, from our sitting bones all the way up through the crown of our head. Now you're welcome to stay upright in your butterfly, or we can add a hinge if you'd like. And that hinge is going to look like this. Let's inhale tall, engaging our abdominals, and on the exhale, a hinge forward. The further down that we go into that hinge, the more hip opening and the more stretch we'll have through the inner thigh. So listen to the body, decide how much you're looking for today. Now on the next inhale, come all the way back upright. Let's slide on down toward the top of the mat here. With bent knees, let's hold on behind the legs, gently, gently rolling down one vertebrae at a time, hugging the knees in toward the chest. Now we're going to use happy baby pose today. So we keep our knees close to the chest. We use our peace fingers of each hand to hook on to our big toes. And if you're not able to reach your big toes, you can hold on anywhere on the lower leg here. Now let's open up those knees a little wider than the hips. And then we can rock our happy baby side to side, massaging the back, trying to keep our tailbone as low to the ground as is comfortable for us. Bring our hips back to the center, the tailbone back to the center. Hug those knees back in toward the chest. And we'll keep the knees bent, but lower them down to the ground, preparing for bridge. Let's keep our palms down on the ground. Slowly peel up one vertebrae at a time, lifting into bridge pose. Creating that long line from our collarbone all the way up to the bent knees. Leg long to the ground. Let's pick up that right shin so it's parallel to the sky. We'll reach the arms out to the side like scarecrow arms and cross that right leg over the long left leg. Supine spinal twist. Now gently, gently come on back to the center. Relax that long leg or the bent leg. Let's take the left shin up so that it's a bent leg with the shin parallel to the ceiling, crossing it over. Supine spinal twist on the other side here. Gently, gently come back to the center. Now we can extend both legs long to the ground, letting the feet fall apart in relaxation. And we can take the arms down to just outside of the hips, palms up toward the sky, coming into that traditional Shavasana or corpse pose. And remember, we always end our practice with Shavasana because it's this wonderful resting pose at the end of all of our physical work. And all that Shavasana is asking from us is to be peaceful, still, and quiet. And I thought that today, while we practice Shavasana, I'd read a little bit from Shiva Ray. She created this moonlight meditation for Yoga Journal magazine in 2017. So I thought that I would read that for us today as we're settling into Shavasana and finding that peace and calm that feels so good at the end of our practice. So let's use each inhale now to breathe peace and calm into the body and the mind. And let's allow each exhale to carry away stray thoughts so that we can be here in this present moment as we practice Shavasana. Slowly become aware of the space between our eyebrows. Within this space, visualize a full moon in a clear night sky, shining brightly on the waves of the ocean. The full reflection of the moon penetrates the deep waters, and the cool shade of moonlight catches the tops of the waves as they dance. Let us see the image clearly and develop an awareness of the feelings and sensations that are created in our mind and body. As we lie here in Shavasana, with the moonbeam shining down upon us, we find our hearts shining with gratitude, grateful for the reminder that the full moon gives us, reminding us to remember all of the abundance in our lives, reminding us that even when things are awry, and even when the different turmoil in the world sends us into despair. Remember the magic and the promise of the full moon, always coming back to us time and time again, reminding us of abundance, reminding us of the ebb and flow of the universe, always giving us hope for that new moon to come again. Now let's start to slowly awaken these bodies from this balancing, mindful rest. Let's invite small movements into our fingers and our toes, gently waking them. And let's start to breathe a little more deeply, filling all parts of this physical body and mind with good, nourishing oxygen and the good waking energy that we've created here together today. Let's breathe in all the many jewels of our practice: peace, balance, focus. And let's exhale all of the warmth and kindness that we have for each other, for the world around us, and for ourselves. Let's take a moment to bend the knees, gently hugging them in closer to the chest. And maybe again, we'll pause to rock the knees side to side, massaging the back in a gesture of self-care. And then when we're ready, carefully rolling the entire body over to one side on the mat. Breathing in deeply, finding an equally deep exhale. And when we're ready, with our eyes still closed, let's return to an upright seated position. I invite each one of us to bring the palms together at heart center in Anjali Mudra, a symbol of gratitude and respect. Let's start to rub those hands vigorously to warm them. And we'll use our warm hands to gently cover our closed eyes. And that wonderful heat that we find radiating there is inviting our eyes to slowly open, and we bring the hands down to rest upon our laps. Thank you so much for joining me for this moon-themed practice. I hope you'll come back again for lessons 2 and 3. Clear minds, kind words, compassionate hearts. Namaste.